Welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're looking at a fundamental shift that is literally happening right beneath our digital feed. For decades, we've navigated the internet using a very specific map, right? The website. You click a link, a page loads, you read, maybe you click another link. But what if I told you that the traditional website, the one we all know, is on the verge of extinction? Today, we're unpacking some absolutely fascinating insights on how AI is completely rewriting the DNA of web development. It's changing not just how we build apps, but what an app actually is. All right, let's dive right in.
Here's the core question driving the entire industry right now. What happens when intelligence isn't just an add-on or some pop-up chatbot, but becomes completely native to web applications? AI is moving so fast into the very stack we use to build the web. We've got models running directly inside your browser. Automated agents are interacting with services behind the scenes. It's totally upending traditional navigation. We're essentially moving away from these static, pre-programmed responses and jumping straight into dynamic, intelligent environments.
Nir Kaufman, a full-stack developer and AI instructor, actually describes this future beautifully. He envisions a web where you don't navigate through a massive, clunky application anymore. Instead, you interact with an AI assistant that dynamically assembles exactly what you need, literally right when you need it. Think about it for a second. Instead of digging through 5 different pages of a travel site just to book a hotel, you just converse with the app. When location matters, boom, a map simply appears. When it's time to pay, a payment which it seamlessly streams right into your view. The entire website is chopped into tiny pieces and delivered on demand. Now, to make this kind of magic happen, we obviously need new underlying tech. And that brings us to Agent to UI, or A2UI. Google and other big players are heavily exploring this emerging protocol right now. In this model, an AI agent doesn't send you a full HTML web page. No way. Instead, it actually describes interface elements as structured data objects and then streams those focused interactive components straight into an ongoing conversation. It's a completely capability-driven future. The architectural challenge here shifts from designing whole web pages to designing these little puzzle pieces, capabilities that an AI can just discover and combine on the fly. Which leads us to the new full-stack architecture, where the lines of traditional development are blurring faster than ever. Let's zoom into this architectural layer to see how this shift is totally altering the traditional roles of front-end and back-end developers. What's really interesting here is how this completely reframes the evolution of coding. Christian Liebel, a front-end specialist, points out that AI doesn't necessarily alter basic JavaScript, but it fundamentally changes how we extend and orchestrate our systems. Think about the old monolithic era. Developers basically just added blocks of code. Then, in the microservices era, we added specialized services. But today, in the AI era, we are adding tools, autonomous agents, and some seriously complex routing logic. The whole dispatching process has totally changed. Software expert Sebastian Springer really hits the nail on the head here. Historically, right, a programmer had to hard code every single decision. If this happens, do A. If not, do B. It was a very rigid, true or false world. But now, you inject a smart node into your application. You're basically handing the steering wheel over to an AI model that uses probabilistic decision-making. Your software suddenly becomes vastly more flexible and dynamic simply because the code is, well, actually thinking, rather than just blindly following a predetermined path.
But that begs the question, where is this thinking actually happening? That brings us to AI inside the browser, and the massive shift that is the edge AI revolution. We so often think of AI as something living in a massive, distant server farm somewhere, but executing AI locally, right on your device, is becoming a massive game changer. Liebel breaks down 4 huge advantages to this local AI approach. First up is cost. We're talking zero cloud inference fees. Second is latency. It's near zero. Think about something like background blurring in a video call. Sending every single frame of video to the cloud and back? Impossible. It has to happen locally. Third is privacy, simply because your data never actually leaves the device. And fourth, it works completely offline. Okay, so how do developers actually put this AI into the browser? Well, there are 2 main approaches, and they come with some pretty brutal trade-offs. On one side, we have bring your own AI. Here, the website basically forces your browser to download a specific model. You get exactly the model you want, precise selection, but the trade-off? High storage costs. I mean, imagine your browser casually asking you to download a 5 GB file just to load a web page, right? It's also usually about 10 to 15% slower. On the other side is built-in AI, where the browser itself, like Chrome with Gemini Nano, already holds the model. You get blazing fast, native performance, but the developer only picks the use case and completely loses control over the exact model quality. It's a really fascinating tug-of-war that architects have to navigate right now.
Of course, as we integrate these native building blocks, we have to talk about AI security and vulnerabilities. It is absolutely a double-edged sword.
Let me share a really startling anecdote from the source material about this. We know AI models are incredibly good at pattern detection, honestly way better than humans. Well, Anthropic launched a project called Mythos, and the AI actually managed to uncover a bug in BSD, which is a widely used operating system. Get this bug had gone completely undetected by human engineers for roughly 30 years. 30 years! It's a pretty sobering reminder of just how fragile our IT world really is, and how AI can see the invisible cracks in our code.
So what do we actually do about it? Well, the most practical countermeasure is you have to fight fire with fire. You must make AI-based vulnerability scanning a standard, non-negotiable part of your software development pipeline. Because here's the thing, attackers are already using AI to scan your code for weaknesses. The only way to defend yourself is to use those exact same AI analysis tools to find and patch your own vulnerabilities before the bad guys can exploit them.
All right, now that we've covered the architecture and security side of things, let's zoom back out. Let's look at designing AI-native experiences, specifically the human element. What does all this dynamic, streaming architecture actually mean for the person clicking the mouse or tapping the screen?
UX researcher Christian Kuhn notes a massive paradigm shift here. He says, and I quote, "The central unit of interaction is no longer the page, but the conversation itself." We are totally abandoning the idea of navigating a static layout. Instead, you express your goals and constraints, and the system determines how best to support you. We're shifting away from clicking through these predefined workflows to collaborating with an intelligent system through intent-driven conversations.
But we have to keep in mind, a conversation doesn't just mean typing into a little chat box. In fact, let's be honest, typing text is exhausting. The future of these conversational interactions is going to be driven by voice, computer vision, and deep contextual awareness. Your device will see what you see, hear what you say, and just know what you're trying to accomplish without you having to hammer out a massive paragraph of instructions on a keyboard. It's a whole new design discipline.
To actually make this user-friendly, Kuhn outlines a practical framework of principles. It starts with putting the human first and leading with empathy first, meaning the system adapts to you, not the other way around. We also have to carefully balance automation with augmentation, keeping the user actively involved. And because AI will inevitably mess up, we know it will, we need complete transparency and a graceful way to fail. Users must always have the control to edit and correct mistakes without any stress. So, tying all this together, where are we heading? Let's look at the future of web dev, where foundations matter more than ever. What are the core takeaways for developers navigating this shift? It's really easy to fall into the trap of thinking AI will just do everything for us. And yeah, AI definitely lowers the barrier to entry. You don't need 10 years of experience to write decent code in a brand new framework anymore because the AI can write it for you. But, and this is absolutely critical, that actually makes genuine human expertise more valuable. An AI can suggest a solution, sure, but it cannot reliably judge if an architectural trade-off makes sense for your business or if a security risk is acceptable. Validating, challenging, and guiding the AI, that is the new developer superpower. Because ultimately, the emergence of AI does not invalidate traditional software engineering principles. If anything, it absolutely reinforces them. If your application is going to be dynamically streaming UI components based on probabilistic AI decisions, your underlying foundation better be rock solid. Clean architectures, reliable automation, rigorous testing, and baked-in security are completely non-negotiable. It's like they say, the chaos of AI requires the discipline of classic engineering. Which leaves us with this final provocative thought. The static website is stepping aside to make room for AI-native applications. The roles are blurring, the technology is moving to the edge, and our interactions are becoming truly conversational. So the question you really have to ask yourself right now, whether you're a developer, an architect, or just someone navigating this fast-approaching digital world, is this. Are you ready to stop building pages and start designing dynamic capabilities? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.